Hi there, Kutiefly here. Welcome to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to talk about one of the things that was announced with the Pokemon conference that was a couple days ago. I don't know how many of you watched it, but there's a lot of news about new games coming out, new apps coming out as well with Detective Pikachu on Switch, Pokemon Masters on your mobile phone, and also Pokemon Sleep that a lot of people have been talking about, because how exactly do you turn sleep into gameplay? I don't know, which there's countless videos talking about that, but I thought for this channel it might be nice to talk about one of the things that was mentioned at the very end of the conference, which was Pokemon shirts. I don't know how many people already know that, but there is a clothing brand sponsored by the Pokemon company that is just in the business of making formal wear with Pokemon designs and patterns on it. And they're opening branches up in Europe and the US. Now, previously it's kind of expensive to have things shipped in from Japan, especially things of higher quality. So hopefully, even though what I'm going to show you here is like $100 a pop for one of the formal shirts, I think that price will be reduced once they open markets here, which is really exciting. But I'm just kind of going to go through today and show you like all the patterns that's available and show you kind of how the websites work, just in case you want to check this out for yourself. So here we're already on the website, and it's a cute banner. There's lots of videos already advertising the content, and the one that I like the most is this video that shows like a young working professional like myself interacting and like seeing a kid wear Pokemon gear, but like regretting the fact that we can't wear the same sort of merch that kids do. So here's the solution for it. It's Pokemon shirts, and they have other advertisements on here if you want to check it out too. Some of them are really cute, some of them are really funny. But I'm just going to go through. They have 151 different patterns for all the Kanto Pokemon, which is a good start. Maybe they'll expand more designs, but like I said, that's going to take a lot of creative processes, and like 800 and something designs is a lot. But there are more than enough different patterns and funky patterns here. This is just kind of a screenshot of a square swatch of fabric. And then later on I can show you how that fabric works on a design shirt, but this is like a zoomed in photo, so this is kind of nice. And of course we're starting with Bulbasaur, and oops, sorry, we missed Ivysaur, and Ivysaur. And then I really like this design. Of course it is Venusaur. I'm not afraid of funky patterns or bold colors or anything like that. I don't know if you can tell, but I always feel as though it's like okay to take fashion choices, especially when you have professional attire. I know that's not always the case how everybody sees it, but I feel like my youth is something that's very apparent, and my youth and my femininity, so why not play that up? And it's worked pretty well for me in the corporate environment, so why not, you know? And I kind of love the fact that there's a lot more merch that's kind of embracing that stylistic focus, especially with like retail brands like Box Lunch, and you know, other merch sites. I know Disney's trying to take it over too, but they incorporate fandom merch with personal style. Some of these kind of like incorporate already patterns, like already established patterns. Like you'll see repetitive different Pokemon using paisley print, some that are really more sketch focused and artistic. I love this graphic. I think my favorite ones in here are probably Butterfree, Venusaur, and Jigglypuff, although this one's very cute too. And I like to see that like there's no rhyme or reason for the more feminine or masculine designs. They're kind of across the board, and like Weedle's a Pokemon that I wouldn't really consider very feminine, but obviously had a pretty feminine print. But don't let that stop you. This site's pretty gender neutral. They have merchandise designed for both menswear and for women as well. So it's literally just based on your measurements and sightings and how you want things to fit, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, some of these are really artistic. Some of them are really graphic and bold. Obviously there's tribal here as well with Pharaoh. I just think some of these are really cool myself. So, and then obviously Pikachu's pretty iconic. It doesn't really need much fluff. This design's really 90s, and I'm digging that vibe. And with these designs for the Nidoqueen and Nidoking line, they're the exact same, but in different color different color tones. So the pinks are attributed to the masculine Nidoking, and the pinks are purples, and the blues are attributed to the Nidoqueen. Love this one, super feminine, super cute, reminds me of like Sailor Moon vibes. but very, very. Now this one too, this print I didn't like up close, but when I saw it in the fabric, it looked a lot cuter. And a lot of these prints will do that. Like some of them seem pretty harsh or pretty stark when you just see this swatch, but when you see them in the shirt form, they're a little bit more digestible, I would say. Especially the ones with like really, really bold colors or that are more graphic. And again, the sizing of the pattern is different. So obviously this is a close-up, but some of the patterns vary in sizing when you see the shirt. This is one that Douglas liked in particular. And I feel like this one's pretty gender neutral too, so like it doesn't really matter. Either way, it looks good. Oh, and this is his spirit Pokemon too, is a Diglett. And something I didn't notice right away, but he pointed out, is that these are all normal Diglets to begin with, but then they snuck on the Lowland Diglett right here, just for you to see. And that's really cool about some of these patterns as well. It's like, if I'm going too fast, go back to the website and take a look for yourself. But some of them do have like little hidden tidbits in there. Like, here's an Alolan Executor 2 hanging out with Psyduck. Or they have like little hidden things in the pattern as well that you really have to look for. And oh my god, I love this print. Let me talk about this. This is graphic, cartoony, comic, in your face. Love it. Just captures Primate's energy, and I really think that's cool. But what was I saying before? Yeah. Oh, they have little tidbits in there, and I think it's really cool because when I buy clothes that I would consider more merchandise for a fandom than I would just like everyday wear, I tend to go for patterns that are more subtle or something that you can't really tell what it is right away. For example, I got a shirt for my grandmother at Hot Topic. I know, shocker. But it was Harry Potter themed, and it had all the different plants from the herbology classes, and it had like mandrake on there and everything else. But you really couldn't tell because far away it just looked like flowers. But then when you got up close, you could really tell it was like very much Harry Potter, and she loved it. It was like her favorite thing, and she wears it to garden, so it's cute. But I like stuff like that, like, you know, that it seems normal when you first glance at it, but then when a closer look, you're like, oh, obviously this is part of Pokemon or like whatever. I think this pattern is super sharp, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, where it's like far away you want to be able to tell. It's very subdued, but you can get away with it, you know, working at the office. And like some of you at home might be like, obviously this is like really cool and really fun, but I could never wear this at my job, or I can never wear it here or here because it's just not, you know, professional or up to snuff. You'd be surprised how willing people are to like, especially young working professionals, are to connect with each other over things like this, or thinking that these graphics are a conversation starter or like a conversation piece, you know. I personally like the vertical stripes. I think it's a really flattering silhouette, flattering graphic for a lot of people. But yeah, you'd be really surprised how well people connect with things. And I know myself, I'm a little bit more of a risk taker when it comes to my presence and how I carry myself. Believe it or not, I used to rock a pixie cut, like bright red, for a very long time, and I had a lot of unnatural colors before I got married, and I got compliments on that all the time. I got most of my jobs based on my hair and my outfit, to be completely honest. Not to take away from, you know, my resume, but you want to make a good first impression. You want to be somebody who knows who they are and who's unapologetic about who they are. And if you're part of the fandom and this is something you grew up loving, then why not chase after that, you know? And I think times are kind of changing too, where it's more permissible. And I don't know if it's from a gender perspective necessarily, but I feel as though that women have to be more on guard in terms of like how we present ourselves as professional, and we can't be too cutesy or too immature, and this might read as immature. But I think with these prints it's really cool because, again, it's graphic enough to be stylish without being a cartoon, you know? I mean, some of these obviously are more cartoonish than others, and they definitely try to appease like a more feminine audience that way. But if you're like me, and if you just kind of like things that are bold in general, like, you could just go out with that too. Or if you even want, like, they do button-down shirts and like working attire, but there's a section that's a little bit more casual and short sleeve. Even if you just want like a cute blouse, like a Cubones on your blouse to wear with like a maxi skirt, you totally can do that too. And like these designs, excuse me, these designs coming up with Himo Lee and Himo Chan, I really dig, and I'm thinking about getting this for my brother just because he loves Himo Lee and Himo Chan, and it's not necessarily masculine, but it's very like graphic in terms of video games, and it kind of reminds me of Street Fighter a little bit. Like, I know, weird connection, but it's just so him. And this Look-a-ton graphic, oh my god, it's so current, it's so hipster, it's just so unapologetic in your face. It reminds me a lot of like social media movements going on. It just screams like smash the patriarchy. I don't know why I'm getting that, but it just feels like giving the middle finger, but in an adorable way, and I can't get enough. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, even like a lot of the color stories in these are surprising for me. I wouldn't have chosen these for certain Pokemon. But I mean, some make sense, like Chansey's obviously going to be pink. Love this one. Again, it's like more graphic, still in that pixelated video game vibe without coming off as like apparently video game. But I feel like that one might be a little bit harder to wear. And then you have the illustrated ones. We've seen some tribal, we've seen some graphic, we've seen everything in between. But some of these will read more as like Hawaiian vacation-y shirts if you want that, but you could still wear them as button-downs too. Yeah, a lot of these are really, really cool. Of course, Jinx, iconic. Not going not. I plan on doing a video dedicated to just Jinx in the future, talking about like the inspiration, just because I don't know how many of you know, but Jinx was inspired by an actual beauty trend in Japan, and it's actually quite controversial, so get into that later once you see. Love this one, completely Western, reminds me of Pecos Bill, like totally countryside cowboy-ish. But it's got a little, this website has a little something, something for everybody, you know? I love this print. Okay, this is also one of my favorite ones with Gyarados, just because, again, the colors are outstanding. You can kind of make out the Gyarados in between, but it's hard to look. But then you see this little hidden surprise of the surfing Pikachu right then and there. And so adorable, so cute. Love that. That kind of, for me, that design kind of embodies like the whole line, I guess, if you will. And of course Ditto is not, just Ditto, but it's different shape-shifting figures with the same Ditto face, which I feel like has just, ever since Detective Pikachu, the people just kind of associate with Ditto with its face, even though Ditto does have the capability to transform completely, Interesting. But yeah, some of the models for some of these designs, I know in the promo video, the Jolteon one really stuck out to me, and we're getting towards the end, but it's really, really, really cool. And like I said, these are pricier, but it's supposed to be of nicer quality. It's not supposed to be like a fan t-shirt like you see a lot of other people wear. And not to knock that, because of course everybody loves t-shirts, it's essential, like you have to be able to have something you're comfortable in. But this is also, I think, Pokemon's attempt to be intergenerational, especially since a lot of the original fans are older, and they are working, we're starting families. Some people might already have families. I know I'm on the older end of the spectrum, but I'm not like the oldest fan there is. And so it's good to be able to reconnect with things that you like grew up with. And what I love about Pokemon is like, it's nostalgic, but it's also current. They're really good about keeping up and keeping in time with what's going on in the world, and how adapting to like the different tastes of contemporary art, contemporary fandom, contemporary pop culture. And they've grown and adapted with it. You see that with the games, you see that with the anime, you see that with character design, Pokemon's slowly become more diverse and than it was in the past, at least racially, or even with gender roles, which are two other video topics I want to talk about in the future with Pokemon. But it's gorgeous, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so we saw the patterns, so let's make a shirt. Just to kind of show you like a tutorial for the website. It's super, super friendly, it wasn't too hard. I'm not the most tech savvy person, and I got it, so it's definitely not that bad. But let's go ahead and put in an order just so you guys can see how it works. I'm definitely going to be going into the women's section, And even though I like the t-shirt, I'm just gonna go in with the dress shirt. And then I'm guessing there's a size chart and it goes by centimeters, and I live in the US, so we don't measure in centimeters. So I'm just gonna like skip all that right now. Ain't nobody got time. But I like the fact that it is tailored, and I like the fact that you can customize it and make sure that it actually fits you if that's something you really, really care about. I mean, obviously if you're paying like $100 for it, you might as well. But yeah, so this is how the website starts out. The long sleeves designs will all have this pocket, just in case you know, but the short sleeves ones will not. You can add a pocket to the other side that's a little bit more casual, but in terms of the long sleeves shirts that are meant to be dress shirts, they will have that pocket there if it matters to you. I know initially I saw it and I didn't really like it, but it is what it is. It's whatever you want. And I know I said I really like Venusaur, but I think I'm going to stick with this Butterfree pattern just because I want to show how graphic can still work. I mean, we can also click on like some other designs just so you guys can get like a feel for all the different options. But yeah, let me just show the Venusaur one too. See, I love that. It's so cute. But I still think the Butterfree is just a little bit more me, just because a lot of the things I have tend to be more poppy. Let me just show you what I mean. Like this pattern I originally didn't like, but the polka dots are cute. The Jigglypuff is very feminine. It's more of like a pink plaid. This one I feel would be more of a neutral one, just personally, and this one as well, even though it tends to read more masculine. Let me find Primates, because that one's pretty cool. See, that's cute. That's super cute. That might be more casual, but it's super spunky. Let's go with that one. You know, I played with Butterfree already, but let's go with the Primate one just for fun. And we're gonna hit save. So this goes through every step of the way with you. It kind of shows if you wanted to add a different one, you can add something different to the outer collar. You can choose from regular fabrics as well, if you don't necessarily want to stick with a big graphic print, or if you want to break that print up a little bit. That white collar is actually kind of cute, so let's stick with that. And then we can do the inner collar as well, and if we want, we might as well just like match that little inside part. Oh yes, that is cute. Hang on, I'm going to zoom in on print. You can definitely do that. You can click on that just to get a clear image. Perfect. And then you also have inner and outer cuffs. I like the outer the same, but the inner one, you can't really see it, but you can kind of see on the inside with the pocket square. Again, if you wanted a different print, you can do that as well. This is just like a random button for you to kind of get something similar. But I'm going to be continuous and stick with that white just because I like how it looks personally. And this is where you would add a pocket if you wanted to. The outer one, let's see, now that's cute. Now if you wanted to mix and match Pokemon patterns, you could do that too, and I might just as well do that. I'm not really sure which one that is, and it looks like it's Raichu, but I like how that kind of blends both like the really cluttered pattern and the more streamlined one, so let's save that. That was a good choice. And then that next you'd go on to style, and this is where you kind of change the shape of the shirt, so you can change the shape of the collar if you really want. I'm cool with the regular one, and then you can do long or short sleeves. The short sleeves will get rid of that pocket for you if you want to do that, but you can also change the buttons, so there's lots of different colors. I think I might go with that red just because it matches the graphic there, but yeah, we can hit save, and that's it. And then after that we just add a cart and go. But that's the shirt I made. I hope you guys have fun looking at this. Like I said, as you can see, it is pretty pricey on top of shipping, but I really feel as though like once they open markets to the US, that price is going to go down, and once they start adding more designs, they could do that too. It's a little exclusive right now because it's just coming in from Japan, but when things are open and when there's a higher demand, like I'm sure the economy will work itself out and price adjustments will be made. But if you're into that, or if you want more professional shirts but don't want to compromise personality or your personal style, I really recommend this website. I know a lot of other brands kind of take on Pokemon images and things and sell them, but some of those can be kind of cheap, especially this is functional, this is formal, and this is fashionable, and you could totally pair this with like a work pants or even like a little mini skirt too to go out, and I like it. I hope you guys enjoyed this too. Please comment down below if you want to see more stuff like this, or if you want to see anything else. If you haven't seen my other videos, go ahead and check them out. One's Pokemon Go related, and another one's a makeup tutorial. The next video will probably more so be about the Nintendo Direct that's going to come up next week, so I hope to get that out really soon, especially since it's Sword and Shield. I'm excited to talk about that too. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Love to have you here, and I can't wait to see you again. Okay, bye!